Here I am painting a little shed in a farm that's maybe about a mile from my house. They have horses here and grazing areas for the horses, but it's kind of a rundown old barn and a very ramshackle farm. I know one person who kept her horse there that was very, very old. It was a rescued horse. And they just brought it there so it could have the last couple of years of its life in happiness rather than sent off to be destroyed. So this is not a place that people keep their beautiful pets. But it's still a place of happiness and hope. And I happened to come across this really cool old building on the farm where they keep some things like old wagons and maybe some buckets of feed. So here I am trying to paint that, and starting out my painting with just some shades and some colors before I actually put any real shapes in there. I'm going to speed up most of this video so you can just observe how it's done. And I'm really happy you're joining me today. I hope you enjoy this video. Here I'm trying to get that old worn out look in this shed. So I've got lots of warmth in here. So I'm trying to get some of the darks in before I get in the medium tones and then finally the light tones. I guess you could say I have some medium tones in there to start with, but they're just basically some washes. But you can start to see the actual building taking shape now. This roof is very tricky on this shed. It goes up, it's like a little A-frame in the middle there. One of the things I'm trying to show is the warmth that's underneath, like a shadow under the roof. getting the exact shape of this roof is not easy because it's foreshortened. The whole building is, period. And that is really difficult to wrap around your mind. And just like a portrait, sometimes you got it and then you lose it and you have to find it again. And you go back and forth, deciding, do I want all that grass? Do I want more ground? Do I want the building to be darker so that I can show off the light areas of the building? Because every painting is really about the effects of the light on the subject, not just painting an accurate subject. For me, anyway, that's what it is. So I'm doing this freehand. I could use a ruler to make it nice and straight, but it's an old beat up shed and I don't really want it all that straight. It's not all that straight in real life. That overhang is the tricky part, trying to show that overhang on the roof. Sometimes when I watch my edits, I think to myself, oh my gosh, why didn't you just leave that alone? That was fine. You're torturing yourself. You shouldn't work so hard. You already had it. Kind of silly. At one point I got the roof way too long. The overhang was way too much because I messed with it so much. Then I had to take it back down again. This is so cool in here. It's dark inside the shed. But if I made it as dark as it really is, you would not see what's in there. I wanted you to understand there's windows that you can see through the front window and through the open door, which there's no door on there, it's broken off. There's a little wagon in there and there's some supplies in there, but if I did not paint them a little lighter than the actual photo, you would not be able to see in there at all. So that's where you have to use artistic license, or your painting will fail. Plus, a photo is darker. It doesn't pick up the light inside the shed the way my eye did. I could see clearly there was a wagon in there. The photo does not show it. So I have to show you what I saw, not what I have in my photograph. As usual, you hear the birds chirping in the background. Underneath the tree is very dark. There's some sort of a trailer leaning up against that tree. I liked it because it was red, just like the wagon inside the shed is red, and they give us a little break from all the green. When there's this much green in a painting, you have to use your greens very thoughtfully. Where do you want your warmth? Usually closer to the front of the painting. Cooler greens further back. Unless you're painting a very particular type of tree that has a lot of warmth in the leaves. Of course, to show atmospheric perspective, you've got to have lighter leaves as they go further back, usually. All of these rules can be broken. Putting some of the darker leaves on the top in the front, leaving some of the lighter leaves in the back. Of course, I could show you every little tiny detail the entire time I painted this, but it would be probably very boring to you, and it would take hours. So I'm speeding it up even faster. Getting a little bit of the wood slats on the side. some of the cool details inside. So when you evaluate a painting that you've done or you're working on, and you try to say to yourself, what is it about it that says it's me? And what is it about it that tells someone to look at it? One of the things for me is I want light. I want light shining on my painting, telling everyone, look here. This is where I want you to look. I want you to understand you're looking through the glass windows here. So there's some reflection on them. I want you to see the light that's coming through here. This is important to me, getting that really light and bright. There's sunshine. It's not just light, but it's light coming from sunshine. So, yellow. I want you to understand that I have some things inside this house. Old, run-down, beat-up things that are just being stored in here. But I don't want it to be so obvious that you just go, oh, yeah, there's a wagon. I kind of want you to look in there, then see the wagon. I want parts of this painting to be less obvious, to force you to really take a good look. So, what does that mean? Stop putting so much detail in, for one thing. It doesn't need as much detail in a lot of paintings. Okay? So how do I do that? Well, one thing that's bothering me is that every one of these slats of wood are so similar. I'm going to add a little bit of my red, which is really not red, it's transparent oxide red. And I want to get some of these to not be quite so perfect, okay? I don't like that. You don't need to see every line in them. That's bothering me. Especially when it goes all the way to the edge here. I'll block out some of that. Pretty clear we're looking at slats on the side of the building. We don't need to see every single one. I did a little of that up here and kind of wiped out some of these. Of course, the ones you want to see a little bit clearer are the ones that are closer to you. Certain things I really, really like emphasizing. Why, I don't know, but I like the darkness underneath here. I like this darkness that's under here. Play it up a little bit in some spots, but not everywhere. Stop yourself. Over here, I want you to understand that you're looking at something that has dimension. So in order to show that is lifted out, I have to show that is sunken in. There's an edge right here. Hard for you to see, but there is. There's an edge right here. Again. It doesn't have to be on the whole thing, but on a piece of it. There's some collected garbage that's on the top of this thing. Same thing with here. This is a ledge. So wherever there's a ledge or the possibility that some dirt could collect under there, put it under there. There's a lot of reflections down here where it's darker. There's also an awful lot of rusty drippings that are on everything. So put some in. Not everything, but put some in. Most of those things fall in the cracks. There's a lot of rusty stuff. I don't know what it is. Maybe tannin in the wood. Maybe it's, who knows, some metal that went rusty underneath there. There's also some white spots that you could emphasize to show the thickness of this wood as it comes across there. Maybe here and here. More. Put it in. Don't be afraid. Put it in. Okay? Not everywhere. Somewhere. This is something here. I don't know what it is. I don't care. There's something right there. Probably was some old electrical stuff that was on the side of this building. Put it in. There's a lot of texture. So add a little, not everywhere. Now it's starting to feel a little more like me. You see how it has more personality? That's what we're looking for, personality. Where do we not have personality? Well, I don't know. Up in this tree here, there's something bugging me. I don't know what it is. I think part of it is that I just don't have the colors in here exactly the way I want them. I mean, it is dark in there. I think I need a little red in my dark. I think I'm pretty much done with this. You keep messing with it, you don't like it anymore. I see a spot where I kind of just left the original colors. Just give it a little color right there, not too much. And then maybe hit this with the tiniest little bit more white. Maybe put a little mystery in here. We don't know what some of this stuff is, but there are things in here. There's lines, there's wood. Nobody knows for sure what it all is, but it's part of the wall. And I guess the last thing I'll do here is try. To have a steady hand, which is so hard for me. So clean up a few edges.